guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. It is a rainy, gloomy day and it's going to be so for the next couple of days, which just feels like the perfect recipe for reading. This reading vlog I'm also super excited about because I'm going to be tackling two incredibly popular romantasy reads to see if they're worth the hype, you know what I mean? Before we dive into the books themselves, first a word from this video's sponsor, which is Curology. Hi guys, I'm so excited to say that this vlog is sponsored by my besties over at Curology. You guys know I have been a user of Curology products for years now, and they're truly products I use every single day, so I'm always so excited to have the opportunity to partner up with them. But if you're not familiar, Curology is a leader in made-for-you skincare. Also, their products are all accessible online and everything is sent directly to your door, and I cannot understate the true convenience of this. I'm a forgetful person. So the fact that my Curology box comes right to my door in the perfect sequence that works for me and my routine has been a game changer. But through Curology, you're able to shop a plethora of standard skincare items, from moisturizer to cleanser to lip balm to pimple patches, but you're also able to work directly with the skincare provider to gain access to skincare products with active ingredients. Target things like acne or fine lines and wrinkles. Personally speaking, I've been using their retinoid-based product for over a year and a half, and I have been loving the results. I've been using this product with a specific goal, reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and also bring back a bounciness and fullness to my skin. I'm actually especially excited because they've recently updated this product to a new Hydro Tret option, meaning they've basically added an additional hydrating element alongside the tretinoid that exists within this product, adding an additional element of moisturizing and more barrier support to your skin, which I always desperately need. I struggle with very dry skin, and this extra element of hydration has been amazing. I've also been utilizing the Hydro Plus Gel Cream Moisturizer, and when I say this has the most incredible texture when you apply it on the skin, its gel-like consistency has this like cooling element and absorbs so nicely. It also has a dual layered hydration technology to intensely hydrate multiple layers of the skin, and let's just say I'm very happy with this new product so far. And the last product I want to give a shout out to, especially because I feel like the travel season is upon us, is Barrier Balm by Curology. I have this on my person at all times. This is basically a skin protectant. It hydrates and defends dry, sensitive skin. I apply this anywhere on my face, but I personally really struggle with getting like very dry, irritated patches when I fly. So I love to use this on airplanes or just in general when I travel. But thank you again to Curology for sponsoring this video. Per usual, I have a very special offer if you click the link below in my description. But thank you again to Curology. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump back into my TBR for this vlog. How to move the lamp. So for this video, I'm going to be tackling the first two books to a popular like romantasy series that's comprised of duologies. If my knowledge serves me correctly, there are 6 books, but 3 sets of 2, you know what I mean? So for this video, I'm gonna be reading the first 2 books to, drumroll please, the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle L. Jensen. This book is everywhere. The online community loves it. Let me show you some close-ups. So here is book 1. They recently got released like with a new cover design, and I won't lie, I do think they're quite lovely looking. And then I also have book 2, which is The Traitor Queen. This series basically follows our main character who agrees to a political marriage to bring peace between 2 rival kingdoms. But instead of actually trying to follow through with this peace, her grand scheme is to actually get revenge against the person she's marrying, which as a setup does sound like quite a bit of fun. Let's just see what we think for ourselves. Historically speaking, I have read other books by Danielle L. Jensen, and the thing is, I really do enjoy her writing style, and I think she has good fantasy writing. I loved the first half of another book of hers that I read and really did not like the second half, so I'm a little unsure how this series is going to work out for me, but I'm hoping I love it, and at the very least, I'm entertained. Luckily, I'm very much in the mood for romantasy, like romance-forward fantasy stories. So I'm hoping I just breeze through these. They're entertaining, but again, there's only one way to find out. So let's get started. friends, good morning. Let's do a reading update. I apologize for not vlogging too much yesterday. It was a special day. My friend came over and then we went to the J-Hope concert. Hobie concert, BTS coming back so soon. We had a blast, but I have started my book, which is The Bridge Kingdom, and I've read about 70 pages so far, and so far I am entertained. I think it's important to provide context when it comes to romantasy books and stories. I'm not looking to have my mind blown by the fantasy landscape, by the writing. I'm looking to be entertained and have some of the classical romantasy elements land for me and to work and be entertaining and me be committed to the romance and just overall be sucked in. So far for 70 pages, I am in fact entertained. Like, is the setup absurd? Sure. But honestly, I don't really care. Like, every interaction the two characters have had with one another, absurd. But honestly, eating it up, which is all that I want. I love cheesy media. I quite literally watch K-dramas on a rotation, and some of them are known to have some delightfully cheesy romantic moments, and I love it every time. So again, I don't need this to be mind-boggling. I want to be entertained, and so far, it's delivering in that. So as I said, our main character was raised as one of 12 daughters by this king who is a jerk. She basically took her sister's place to become a queen consort to this like rival kingdom. And she's been trained her whole life to basically get rid of him. And obviously they are going to deeply misunderstand each other. And there's going to be a wonderful back and forth between the two of them. Duh. And honestly, I'm here for it. I love political arranged marriage plot lines. This is that. I love characters completely underestimating the other. And what I think especially works with that trope line is that we have chapters from both of their perspectives, so we get to see them react in real time. And so far, Aaron, who is the main character, isn't annoying me. Sometimes it's risky to have male perspective chapters in romantasy because they're like too much for me, you know what I mean? Like sometimes I don't want their thoughts. It's better that way. But so far, he's not annoying me too much, you know, which I think is a win. And I really do like our main character so far, Lara. And I like that, you know, in some ways she's like been preparing for this moment her whole life. She obviously has a lot of skills, but this is her first time like applying those skills in real situations. So she's like talented, but you know, it's her first day on the job. So I feel like there's like an element of that that's playing out quite well. I don't know, there's clearly secrets at play between the political reality of these two kingdoms. I think there's gonna be lots of great side characters. Knowing this is a series of duologies, I think also makes me excited because one of my pet peeves with romantasy series is sometimes I feel like the romantic pacing is off because there's like all of these super long books. So there's like not enough yearning, and then they get together and then they have to create all these like conflicts to keep them separate over like thousands of pages. But knowing that this is just 2 books and then we get a new set of characters, I feel like really intrigues me. And I'm also like, my radar is on to figure out like what the other characters are going to be, because there's already some interesting side characters that have been introduced to. I have a lot of this book left. It's 430 pages. I've only read 70, and obviously my goal is to read the sequel too. But as introductions go, I'm pretty happy with it so far. That was an easy 70 pages to read. I'm entertained. They're obviously drawn to one another. We'll see how this all plays out. I'll keep you posted. But now it's breakfast time. I am starving. We desperately need to do dishes, so these are the bowls we're working with this morning. Hello everyone. It's Friday afternoon, 5 o'clock. I picked myself up a late afternoon latte. I very rarely do this because usually caffeine in the afternoon, not a good plan for me, but I feel like it's gonna hit just right today. We're gonna read more of Bridge Kingdom. right now. And then Clay and I are gonna make a very tasty dinner. We're gonna go for a very long walk, and then our immediate plan is to watch When Life Gives You Tangerines on Netflix and cry. We literally cry, ugly cry, every episode watching that show. And it's funny because we both received TikToks, someone being like crying watching the show. They're like, God, why did I watch the show? And our first reactions both were like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then we're like, wait, actually, we cry that hard in every episode that's already happened so far. So I don't think that was a spoiler. I think that's just the existence of watching that show, you know? But anyway, it's time for Bridge Kingdom. I'm looking forward to some yearning. I'm looking forward to some brain off reading. I like mashed potatoes up here, so this feels perfect. So let's read. It's time to construct my ready-made kind of bibimbap, where I really just roasted a bunch of vegetables in the oven and then had some leftover frozen Trader Joe's bulgogi, but it's so good. So let's make a bowl. So first, obviously, some rice. Then I have onions and carrots, which I top with sesame oil, sesame seeds, seasoned it as well, garlic powder, salt, pepper, that type of thing. I also have this sheet tray of broccoli and mushrooms. Similarly, pile this on. I have my bulgogi and fried egg in this pan. This is too heavy. Fried egg. And then last but not least, this little gochujang mixture I made. It's just gochujang, some soy sauce, brown sugar, sesame oil. And I'll show you before I mash it all together. Here it is, but now I'm gonna mix her up. And here it is, all mixed up. I'm gonna go eat now. Time to cry. Isn't that right, Clay? All we do is cry watching this show. Yeah. Good morning. Just been up drinking some coffee, enjoying this nice Saturday morning. So reporting, I've read about half of Bridge Kingdom, and I'm gonna do a reading update in a minute. But first, I'm gonna go on a little morning stroll.
Full milk, okay? That's good.
Hey everyone, we are back from lunch and I wanted to do a reading update because I have passed the 50% mark of The Bridge Kingdom, and I'm so happy to say so far this book has not given me the ick. I am entertained. I think the pacing of the romance is actually quite well done. Thrilled to say. I like the back and forth. I think my favorite element of this book is the fact that our main character, Lara, has to sort of play down her own abilities, and watching her have to maneuver through this kingdom as a spy and then confronting inaccuracies in her information as she like begins to glean more in person. I think this sort of double life she's forced to live within this book creates some like really fun tension and back and forth, because she is deceiving her new husband, and so he's like sus of her, but then also confused why he otherwise kind of likes her, and he's also like undercutting his expectations of her. So I think there's like a lot of really fun character dynamics at play while adding like just enough fantasy context, particularly between these two kingdoms, because our main character has been told her entire life that her kingdom has been on the brink of starvation. Her people don't have access to the right resources because this other kingdom, the Bridge Kingdom, has put a chokehold on trade and they don't let anything come through, which is why she's getting married in the first place, to broker peace. But when she arrives, she begins to see the information and the history that she's been told isn't quite lining up with like what she's seeing in person, which is fun in terms of creating like drama. Also like seafaring combat. The bridge itself is very cool. Here's like a little map. It's like a long bridge with a bunch of islands along the way, which I think is such an interesting idea for a kingdom. I just think it's cool because it's like connecting two massive land masses, and then their kingdom is right there. But yeah, anyway, I am liking the tension. I'm liking the back and forth. I don't find either character to be too annoying, which I think is perfect. I think everything so far has been paced in a way that has kept me coming back for more. And all in all, we're on a very positive path with this book. So cheers to that. Groceries for the week have arrived. Well, we went to go get them. And also some treats. I got some avocado sushi for lunch. Clay got a slice of cake. I'm also trying these pre-made like massive cookies. I'm gonna put half of them in the freezer and put half of them in the fridge. I'm so excited about these. But let's put all this away. All right, the Sunday breakfast grand plan is I'm gonna have one of my frozen farmer's market bagels I got a couple weeks ago. And then yesterday at the cafe Clay and I went to, I picked up some of their cream cheese. So, just gonna throw this in my toaster oven. I sliced them before I froze them. Lovely, beautiful, stunning. All right, toast at the 450. And away it goes. Slightly over toasted, but scrumptious. Let's go watch The Real Housewives. Clay's taking a nap because he's lazy. And I'm working hard because I've opened up my own pizza shop. And good pizza, great pizza. And that's just the difference between him and I. Some people work, some people sleep. Hi, let's do a reading update of The Bridge Kingdom. I am in the midst of making lunch at the moment, hence the apron. But I'm waiting for water to boil, and as I say, a wash pot never boils. So let's do a reading update of The Bridge Kingdom because I finished the first book of this vlog, meaning I've read 430 pages. And all in all, I liked this book. I feel like it had all of the elements I'm personally looking for within a romantasy story. I thought it had a good amount of action. I thought it had great chemistry and tension between our two leads. I thought there was some good political intrigue. Maybe it was a little straightforward, maybe it was a little obvious, but like honestly, as I've mentioned a lot of times, I just want to be entertained by romantasy and I just don't want to be distracted by the world building and politics. And for the most part, it worked really well to drive the book and story forward. But what I'm so happy to report is that the romantic pacing in this was so good, and also the plot arc of the story makes sense to have a book too. Like, there was such a great cliffhanger at the end of this. Everything built up to a really great, reasonable and logical like culmination of a moment. And maybe some things I maybe could see, it still created like tension and anxiety inside of me. And how things are gonna play out in book 2 is like going to be entertaining. Like, I don't think book 2 is gonna be a waste of like miscommunication, bringing the plot backwards to force some sort of like plot elements between our two characters, so there's some sort of back and forth that can happen. Like, I feel like the tension that the author is going to be able to explore in this is all based on everything she set up in book 1, and it should be logical because there's actually a fantasy plotline at work within this series, and I am so grateful. I'm always hopeful going into series and then I'm like chronically disappointed, but like as I was reading this, I was like, wow, okay. Yeah, all right, I see what you're doing there. Like, the back and forth between the characters was fun, the tension, the fact that they were like true enemies and they should be working against each other, they don't trust each other, persisted, and you saw their walls like slowly come down, and then the twists and turns and the unfortunate situations resulting in the plot, which is going to carry over into book 2, which I think is going to be so good and so entertaining. Lots of yearning, but still they were steamy when they needed to be steamy. It just felt like, wow, logical, you know? Like, things moved in a logical way, and I liked it. And even some of the fantasy world building I thought was quite impressive. I highlighted that I thought the concept of the Bridge Kingdom was really cool. We have this kingdom, their primary income centers on trade because they control this very unusual physical landmass, which is like a physical bridge connecting two larger kingdoms, and by, you know, collecting tolls and tariffs and things like that, that's how they, you know, stay afloat. But obviously this creates tension between kingdoms as they're kind of a middleman. And playing on this like trade element, I thought just like made a lot of sense. I thought the action was good. Maybe some of the major plot twists at the end were perhaps a little expected or sudden and then resolved, or like we're moving on to the next scene. But like, honestly, I don't even want to complain too much because like this feels almost like a unicorn to me. A little bit. I need to read book 2, so like TBD, we're gonna read book 2. But honestly, this had like what I was hoping. Everything was enjoyable to read. It didn't like blow my mind. It's not my favorite romance novel. I also feel like it's been a minute since I've picked up a popular romantasy series where I've liked the pacing. Because I did. We're starting book 2 next. In lunch is done. I'm clearly having a moment with miso soup because I can't stop making it or eating it. And that's lunch. We bought this frog and I love him. I also bought this fairy birdhouse and this hook. Thriving. We've got wildflowers blooming. I even have the start of a bluebonnet. And then all of Clay's herbs. We have a strawberry. Hello friends, it's time for a pre-walk because I am in my walk-in clothes. Pre-taco dinner, what other words? Reading sprint, we're gonna do a reading sprint together. Sorry, it's the end of the day and my brain is not fully functioning. We're starting book 2 of this vlog. I'm really excited to see how this is gonna kick off because Book one ended rather explosively, and I just feel like there is going to be that natural progression into whatever's going to happen here, and I'm looking forward to it. So Millie and I, you'll see her in a second. So Millie and I, she is doing her thing, are gonna sit and read together. Isn't that right, Millie? You and I. Millie's like, actually, goodbye. Friends. So quick 60 pages of the Traitor Queen read, and I'm so into this. I feel like this has had an even stronger start than the Bridge Kingdom. I just think the culmination and just how quickly we progressed into like the next sequence has worked really well as like an intro, pull you in, action drama, like right from the get. I also love when you see groups of people having to conspire together, make a plan, kind of pull off an impossible heist-esque situation, a prison break, if you will. Like these types of tropes, I just always think are super entertaining to read. Like a group of underdog people trying to accomplish the impossible because it's, you know, someone that they deeply care about. And then the people that get pulled in to help them accomplish this plan, I also love. It's only been 60 pages, but I'm already getting a small glimmer, a guess on who some of the other characters we might read from later on in the series. I feel like the secondary characters in this so far have been pretty impressive in that while they don't get a lot of screen time because our primary characters are definitely our main romantic leads, they're still there. You still care about them. It's a believable connection and relationship, which I like to see. I also feel like the plotting still impressively paced. And I also feel like, again, more hooked than I ever was before. And the politics element are like even better than book one. So there we go. And I love a revenge tale. It's like revenge, heist, prison break, get the band back together energy, and it's working. Look at me. Do I love romantasy? Maybe. A beautiful night. And we grilled. Well, Clay cooked some chicken thighs. Show them off for the camera, Clay. Ooh, look at those grill marks. Inside, we've got toppings, onions and peppers, beans, and I'm about to microwave the tortillas. Slay. Tacos are done. Y'all already know. We're getting ready to cry. We're on episode 12. If you haven't started When Life Gives You Tangerines on Netflix, stop what you're doing, exit out of this vlog, and start it. I'm wearing a strawberry shirt today, and I'm quite jazzed about it. We have a relaxing but mildly precariously placed candle. But I'm gonna sit down now and read more Traitor Queen, because I'm really liking it so far. It has been so action-packed, and I would say better than the first. So we're gonna see how this whole thing plays out. Great news, I've read to page 200 of the Traitor Queen, and this is fun. Everything I've said, pass it to the next person, double it. No, but actually, they're fitting. I feel like the author is fitting a lot in terms of the different elements of the plot within this book, all of which proving to be entertaining so far. I feel like the notes of the first one were consistent. Like there was really like one type of plot that was sort of happening. And here I almost feel like we have a couple different things at play that can almost be like their own book. Not to say that they feel underdeveloped, but it's more like she's really keeping me on my toes. Like we have, again, as I mentioned, getting back together, heist, prison break, we have quest, survival situation. Like there's a lot of things that have been happening within this book. But I feel like they've been rather successful in continuing to create logical tension and conflict between our two main characters while she's still keeping the heat up between the yearning and angst between them, which for me, I love to have my soul slowly ripped out, ripped apart, and I'm just like waiting, begging on the edge of my seat for like something to perhaps happen. And I feel like the author is definitely doing that and doing it quite well. I do feel like if you like romantasy, it has like non-stop romance and like romantic scenes. This might not be the book for you, but if you're like me, where you appreciate a fun, maybe not the most mind-boggling fantasy plotline with great character tension, like drawn out romantic sequences, this very much could be the series for you. And I also feel like I have clear hints on who the other characters are going to be featured within the series, which I'm looking forward to. There is a political scenario, like we got a lot happening here, and I think the author's doing a pretty good job not making it feel underdeveloped. So my goal is to finish this tonight and wrap up this vlog tomorrow, but I'm worried I'm feeling a little repetitive, but I don't really have like net new things to say. This isn't, I wouldn't say like a 5-star read for me, like either book, but honestly, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Like I'd give this probably like a 3.75, which feels like a really solid rating for a romantasy book, especially given how bad of luck I've had recently. Like really, this is basically what I'm wanting. Like I'm not obsessed with anyone or any character, but I'm having a good time, and that's all I wanted in the year 2025 from something. It's time to sit down and finish this book. But first I have to tuck Matilda in for bed. You wanna be tucked in, Millie? What? Okay, there we go. There you go, good night. Hi friends, welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I'm so happy to report I finished both of these books. The first 2 books in the Bridge Kingdom series, I think that is what this is called. And honestly, I really enjoyed this. I think I would give both books a 3.75 out of 5 stars. It was a solidly fun, romance-forward fantasy story with an engaging fantasy plotline. It's quite literally textbook of all I have been asking for and hoping for within the romantasy space. Is it my favorite romantasy series I've ever read? No. But honestly, it's definitely up there with one of the best romantasy series I've read. So like, I rank it pretty high, and I would fully recommend this series to anyone who enjoys this genre. And I'm looking forward to reading more books in this series, following more characters. I just really enjoyed Danielle L. Jensen's writing style within this, which I'm not shocked to see because I have enjoyed her writing style in the past, even though her plotting isn't always my favorite. But this really landed. I'm so happy to say a popular booktok series lived up to the hype for me personally, which just feels like a big day. One to remember in the history books of my YouTube channel. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend this. Seal of approval. This is not making my worst books of the year video at all. Yeah. Success. Alrighty guys, that is the end of my vlog. Thank you again to this video's sponsor, which is Curology. I will have that special offer linked down below once again. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. We did it. We did it. Romantasy series that's not terrible.